I love just coming out here early in the morning, looking at Miss Girl, looking at the beautiful garden and listening to these birds just sing their little tunes. I'll be ripping the Swiss chard out, giving it to my grandma this weekend. Here's the pea plants. I need to kind of separate them, and the broccoli. I'll be turning up all of this today and we'll be restarting. All right, guys, we're getting there. I basically saved all of my plants. Everything that I posted a few weeks ago saying that everything died, I mean, this is nature at its finest. Everything rejuvenated. So let's get into what we're planting in February.
And before we get into this video, I suggest checking out my 2024 garden planting guide for zones and planting specifics such as planting times, row spacing, harvest time, and my video on how to calculate start dates and transplant dates.
So if you want to do something that's an alternative to like spinach or lettuce, you can do Mizuna. Here's another one right there. They're really cute and fluffy. I personally like it better just because of its like frilly texture. I like it better in sandwiches. It holds up better than lettuce, but I also like the flavor more too.
Carrots come in different varieties, so you can pick from sweet to hearty. It's suggested to plant carrot seeds directly in a raised bed about 3 inches apart. I'll be moving mine to a new raised bed, but originally started in pots with loose soil and watered every day. These carrots will be ready to pick in a few months and can always be succession planted with different varieties. It's important to thin out the tops of your carrots to allow for proper root growth.
I drew a long line right across the corner of the carrot where the carrots already are, and since the seeds only have an 80% germination rate, I'm going to sprinkle them all along the row right here. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Honestly, this is gonna be so awesome. These are the potatoes I have this year. This one's a Yukon Gold. These ones are purple potatoes, and I'm just so excited. I don't know if I can plant more because this is going to be a multiple use raised bed. This is how I'm going to be planting my potatoes because all over here I planted onions. We're doing 3 different types of onions: Granex Yellow Hybrid, Red Burgundy, and then Walla Walla onions.
Growing broccoli and cauliflower is super easy, but they prefer cool weather, so it's important to start your seedlings now to transplant in early March. Typically, these are grown 18 inches apart, but I found that spacing between 8 to 12 inches works perfectly fine. If the weather does get too warm, make sure to cover your broccoli and cauliflower heads with a raised tarp, that way the buds do not separate and flower. Cabbage and bok choy, or also known as Chinese cabbage, are both part of the brassica family. These grow in cool weather, but when growing in the spring, make sure to keep an eye out for pesky aphids that can burrow in the center of your cabbage heads. Plant cabbage about 12 inches apart, and it's okay to plant bok choy about 6 to 8 inches apart. While I do have an entire video on brassicas, I will briefly mention kale and Swiss chard. Both species come in several varieties, and I love blue dwarf curled kale because it has fluffy leaves. Kale seeds are super small, so if you do decide to direct sow, plant 1/4 inch deep. And the colder the weather gets, the leaves turn more sweet. Both plants can be frost resistant, so it's okay to start planting now in February. Radishes come in many different varieties and can either be planted in ground in loose soil or pots. Radishes are fast and easy growers and only take about 24 to 40 days in harvest time. Arugula is a cool weather crop that has a peppery flavor and can be planted as an alternative to lettuce. I love throwing down arugula seeds just in my garden because they grow into patches that can be harvested in about 2 months. Be careful when the weather gets too warm, as arugula will bolt and flower, and then the leaves will turn bitter. Arugula is also fabulous as a microgreen crop. I like to start my pepper plants in February because these guys are slow movers. The germination process is extremely slow, and peppers usually don't turn red until late August. There are so many different varieties of peppers, so make sure to go check out my website at allthingsgirly.org to see which pepper you want to grow this year. I start the germination process of my tomato plants in February as well. It's important to start early, especially if you're living in warmer climates. That way you can allow for your tomato plants to have a longer growing season. Tomatoes are a summer crop and enjoy fertilizer high in nitrogen to develop the leaves, require pruning, and ample amounts of sunlight and water to stay plump and hydrated.
All right, y'all.
It's official. This is the last tomato of the season. Peas are another cool weather crop that can be direct sowed now in February. Peas do require cool weather. Make sure the weather does not get too hot, as the pea plants will die. This is my amazing makeshift raised bed that I have kohlrabi and turnips in because they do require loose soil, which I do not have here down in Georgia. Make sure you are fertilizing your kohlrabi and turnips every 2 weeks with a high potassium and phosphorus fertilizer to develop the roots more intactly. Also, I desperately need to prune these to develop the root more. And like I said, all seed varieties can be found on my website at allthingsgirly.org for any variety that you're trying to plant in your spring or summer garden. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.